Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to start up with a one short revision of the topic of the chapter Bricks, Beads and Bones. This is from class 12th history. This is chapter 1. Fine. So now we are going to start up with the introduction to the Harappan Civilization. Harappan Civilization is also known as the Indus Valley Civilization. This was one of the earliest and most advanced urban civilizations in the world. It flourished during the mature Harappan period, that is 2600 BCE to 1900 BCE. Although its roots go back to around 3300 BCE. I guess you all are aware about BCE refers to before Christian era, right? So it developed mainly in the northwestern part of Indian subcontinent. Now let's move forward towards the discovery of Harappan and Mohenjodaro. Now the discovery of the Harappan civilization, it completely transformed the understanding of ancient Indian history. Before these excavations, historians believe that Indian civilizations began with the Vedic age, but the discovery of Harappan cities, it proved that an advanced urban civilization had flourished nearly 4,500 years ago. Now, the site of Harappa, located in present-day Pakistan, this was excavated in 1921 by Dayaram Sahani under the Archaeological Survey of India. In 1922, Rakhal Das Banerjee excavated Mohenjodaro. These discoveries revealed planned cities, brick houses, drains, wells, seals, pottery, and public buildings that demonstrated remarkable urban development. Sir John Marshall, who was then the Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India, officially announced the discovery of this civilization to the world in 1924. Later, excavations by archaeologists such as Mortimer Wheeler, I'll just call him Wheeler, B.B. Lar, S.R. Rao, and R.S. Bisht, they led to the discovery of many more Harappan sites across India and Pakistan. Today, over 2,000 Harappan sites have been identified, making it one of the largest Bronze Age civilizations. Now, the archaeological sources and terminology. Harappan script has not yet been deciphered. Historians, they depend almost entirely on archaeological sources to reconstruct the history of the civilization. Archaeology is the scientific study of the human past through material remains left behind by earlier societies. During excavations, archaeologists recover artifacts, structures, and eco-facts, each providing different kinds of historical information. Archaeologists also study the different layers of soil through stratigraphy, which helps determine the chronological order of settlements. Scientific methods such as carbon dating, chemical analysis, and microscopic examination are used to estimate the age of objects and verify archaeological findings. Since there are no readable written records from the Harappans, these archaeological sources form the foundation of our knowledge about their political, economic, social, and religious life. Let's move toward the chronology of the Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization, it's just divided into three major phases. So, the first one is the early Harappan phase. Second one is the mature Harappan phase. Third one is the late Harappan phase. The early Harappan phase, this started somewhat around approximately 3300 BCE to 2600 BCE. This was the period when villages expanded into small towns. During this phase, agriculture developed. Trade began to grow and people started building settlements with mud bricks. And in the mature Harappan phase, this was somewhat around approximately 2600 BCE to 1900 BCE. This was the golden age of the civilization. Large cities developed such as Harappa, Mohenjodaro, Dholavira, and Lothal. They all flourished with well-planned streets, drainage systems, standardized brick seals, and long-distance trade. The late Harappan phase, it refers to the gradual decline of urban centers. Trade decreased, many cities were abandoned, and people shifted to smaller villages. The chronology helps historians understand how the civilization basically evolved from simple state settlements into one of the world's greatest urban cultures, and how it eventually declined over time. The most important topic is the town planning. One of the most remarkable achievements of the Harappan civilization was its scientific town planning, which reflects a high level of administrative efficiency and engineering skills. The streets were laid out in a grid pattern, intersecting each other at right angles to form rectangular blocks. You all can just see it from the pictures that are just showing us the grid pattern. This systematic layout made transportation and movement easier. Buildings was constructed using standardized baked bricks in the ratio 1:2:4, ensuring uniformity and strength. Wide main roads were connected to narrow lanes, providing easy access to residential areas. The cities also had public buildings, wells, marketplaces, workshops, and an advanced drainage system. The careful planning of every aspect of urban life indicates that the Harappans followed common building rules and probably had an organized civic authority to supervise construction. Now, let's talk about the Citadel and the lower town. Most Harappan cities were divided into two distinct sections. The Citadel and the Lower Town. The Citadel was built on a high raised platform made of mud and brick. It contained important public buildings such as the Great Bath, Granaries, assembly halls, and large open spaces used for public or ceremonial purposes. Being elevated, the Citadel was protected from floods and may have served administrative, religious, or public functions. Now let's talk about the Lower Town. Situated below the Citadel, was much larger and consisted mainly of residential houses, workshops, markets, and streets where the majority of the population lived. Both sections were carefully connected through planned roads and drainage systems. The division of cities into these two parts demonstrate organized urban planning and efficient management of civic activities. However, historians do not believe the Citadel was a royal palace because no clear evidence of kings or monarchs has been found. Now, Great Bath. Let's talk about the Great Bath. The Great Bath, discovered at Mohenjodaro, is one of the most impressive public structures of the Harappan civilization and is considered a masterpiece of ancient engineering. It is a large rectangular tank measuring approximately 12 meters long, 7 meters wide, and 2.4 meters deep. The floor was made of finely laid baked bricks and coated with gypsum plaster and bitumen natural tar to make it completely waterproof. Although its exact purpose is unknown, historians believe it was mainly used for ritual bathing and religious ceremonies rather than ordinary bathing. The construction of such a massive public structure reflects the Harappans' advanced knowledge of architecture, water management, and public planning. Now let's move toward the granary and the residential buildings. The granary was a large public building that archaeologists believe was used for storing surplus grain collected from nearby agricultural areas. Excavations at Harappa have revealed massive brick platforms with well-planned ventilation passages beneath them. The granary may have helped in maintaining food supplies during floods, droughts, or periods of scarcity. It also reflects organized administration and careful management of agricultural resources. Let's move towards the residential buildings. Harappan houses were carefully designed to provide comfort, cleanliness, and privacy. Most houses were built with standardized baked bricks and were arranged around a central courtyard, which allowed sunlight and fresh air to enter. Many houses have private bathrooms, wells, kitchens, and direct connections to the drainage system. Some larger houses had staircases leading to an upper floor, indicating two-storied construction. The well-planned residential areas demonstrate the Harappans' concern for hygiene and organized urban life. Agriculture and animal husbandry. Agriculture was the foundation of the Harappan economy and supported the growth of large urban centers. Most settlements were located near rivers because fertile alluvial soil and a regular supply of water were essential for farming. The principal crops cultivated by the Harappans included wheat, barley, peas, sesame, mustard, dates, and cotton. In fact, they are the most earliest known cultivators of cotton in the world. Archaeological evidence from Kalibangan shows the remains of plowed field, proving that farmers used simple plows to prepare the land. They domesticated cattle, buffalo, sheep, goats, pigs, and dogs, while oxen were used for plowing fields and transporting goods. Animal bones also indicate that fish and wild animals supplemented their diet. Agriculture and animal husbandry together ensured food security and contributed significantly to the prosperity of the civilization. Trade. Let's move towards the internal and the external trade. Trade was the most important pillars of the Harappan economy and played a vital role in the prosperity of the civilization. The internal trade, it refers to that the Harappans exchange goods both within their own settlements. This is the internal trade. And when with distant regions, this is the external trade. Different Harappan cities specialized in different crafts and exchanged raw materials and finished products through an organized trade network. For example, Lothal was famous for bead making. While coastal settlements supplied shells and inland settlements produced agricultural goods. External trade was carried out mainly with Mesopotamia, where the Harappan region was known as Meluha. Archaeologists have discovered Harappan seals, beads, pottery, and other objects in Mesopotamian cities. Goods such as cotton, textile, beads, shell objects, ivory, timber, and precious stone, they were exported. Raw materials like copper, tin, silver, and semi-precious stones, they were imported. Rivers, land routes, and sea routes connected different regions, whilst Lothal's dockyard served as an important center for maritime trade. This well-developed trade system reflects the Harappans' economic prosperity, commercial organization, and cultural interaction with neighboring civilizations. Seals, Harappan script, and weights measures. One of the most remarkable features of the Harappan civilization was the use of seals, script, and standardized weights and measures, which demonstrate the civilization's administrative efficiency and commercial organization. Thousands of seals made mainly from statite have been discovered. These seals usually bear animal figures such as the unicorn, bull, elephant, rhinoceros, buffalo, and tiger, along with the short inscriptions written in the Harappan script. The Harappan script remains one of the greatest mystery of ancient history. It consists of approximately 400 to 600 signs and appears on seals, pottery, copper tablets, ornaments, and tools. Most inscriptions contain only a few symbols and are generally written from right to left. The Harappans also developed an accurate system of weights and measures, which was essential for trade. Cubical stone, weights of different sizes, followed a standardized decimal and binary system, ensuring fairness in commercial transactions. Measuring scales made of shell and ivory have also been discovered. This remarkable standardization indicates from administrative control and organized economic life. And if I talk about among the most famous discoveries, I am just talking about the seals, is the Pashupati seal, which depicts a horned figure seated in a yogic posture, surrounded by animals. You all can just see the pictures. Let's move towards craft production. Craft production was one of the most advanced economic activities of the Harappan civilization and demonstrates the remarkable skill of its artisans. Specialized work discovered at sites such as Mohenjodaro. These were the workshops. Lothal and Harappa. These indicate that different crafts were produced by trained craftsmen. Among the most important industries were bead making, in which artisans produced beautiful beads from carnelian, agate, lapis lazuli, jasper, shell, faience, and gold. The shell industry flourished at coastal settlements such as Nageshwar and Lothal, where shells were made into bangles, spoons, beads, and decorative objects. The Harappans also possessed advanced knowledge of metallurgy. They used copper, bronze, gold, and silver to manufacture tools, weapons, ornaments, and household articles. The famous bronze dancing girl from Mohenjodaro demonstrate their mastery of the lost wax casting technique. There is no evidence of the use of iron. Pottery was another important craft. Most Harappan pottery was made on the potter's wheel and decorated with black designs on the red surface. The Harappans also made numerous terracotta objects, including toys, cards, whistles, animal figures, and female figurines. These objects provide valuable information about daily life, artistic creativity, and children's activities. The diversity and quality of Harappan crafts highlight their technological advancement, artistic excellence, and flourishing trade. Let's move towards religious beliefs. Let's talk about the mother goddess, Pashupati seal, and fire altars. The religious beliefs of the Harappans are understood mainly through archaeological remains, as no religious texts have been discovered. Terracotta figurines, seals, fires, altars, sacred trees, and animal motifs provided clues about their beliefs. Several terracotta females figurines have been identified by some scholars as representations of a mother goddess, symbolizing fertility and prosperity. However, this interpretation is not universally accepted, as there is no written evidence confirming their religious significance. Another important discovery is the Pashupati seal, found at Mohenjodaro. It depicts a horned figure seated in a yogic posture and surrounded by animals such as the elephant, tiger, buffalo, and deer. Some historians identify this figure as a proto-Shiva or an early form of Lord Shiva, while others argue that such interpretations should be made with caution. Evidence of fire altars has been found mainly at Kalibangan and Lothal, suggesting that fire altars or fire rituals may have been performed at some sites. The Great Bath is also believed to have been used for ritual purification, indicating the importance of cleanliness in religious practices. Burial practices, including cemetery, are 37. Burial practices provided valuable evidence about the customs, the beliefs, and social life of the Harappan people. Archaeologists have discovered cemeteries at several Harappan sites where the dead were buried in carefully prepared graves. Most skeletons were laid in an extended position, generally with the head facing north. Along with the bodies, objects such as pottery, shell bangles, beads, ornaments, and other personal belongings were placed in the graves. Unlike Egypt, no grand royal tombs or pyramids have been found, indicating that rulers, if they existed, were not buried differently from ordinary people. One of the most important burial sites is cemetery R37 at Harappa. Excavations at this cemetery have been held. Archaeologists study the age, gender, health, diseases, and good habits of the Harappan people through scientific examination of human skeletons. The cemetery also reveals that the burial customs followed certain common practices while allowing some regional variations. Overall, burial evidence provides important insights into Harappan society, health, and cultural traditions. Now from this topic, let's just talk about the decline of the Harappan civilization and different theories. The decline of the Harappan civilization began around 1900 BCE, before Christian era, and was a gradual process rather than a sudden collapse. Archaeological evidence shows that many large cities such as Harappa and Mohenjodaro gradually lost their importance. Public buildings were no longer maintained, trade networks weakened, and many people migrated from urban centers to smaller villages. Historians have proposed several theories to explain this decline. One theory suggests that climate change reduced rainfall, making agriculture difficult. Another points to the drying or shifting of river system, especially the Ghaggar-Hakra river, which affected water availability and settlement patterns. Repeated floods, especially at Mohenjodaro, may have damaged cities and disrupted economic life. The decline of long-distance trade with the Mesopotamia also reduced economic prosperity. Some of the archaeologists played a very important role, like Dayaram Sahani, he excavated Harappa. R.D. Banerjee, he excavated Mohenjodaro. Sir John Marshall, he announced the discovery in the year 1924, whereas Wheeler, scientific excavation methods. B.B. Lal.
So thank you so much, dear students, for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Thank you for watching my video, guys.
Bye-bye. We'll meet you in my next vlog.